The Gospel according to Luke, the 12th chapter. Glory to you, O Lord. Jesus said, "Do not be afraid, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give alms. Make purses for yourselves that do not wear out, an unfailing treasure in heaven, where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Be dressed for action and have your lamps lit. Be like those who are waiting for their master to return from the wedding banquet, so they may open the door for him as soon as he comes and knocks. Blessed are those slaves whom the master finds alert when he comes. Truly, I tell you, he will fasten his belt and have them sit down to eat, and he will come and serve them. If he comes during the middle of the night or near dawn and finds them so, blessed are those slaves. But know this, if the owner of the house had not known at what hour the thief was coming, he would not have let his house be broken into. You also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. Please be seated. I'd like to focus today's meditation on one verse. It's really two verses. Be dressed for action and have your lamps lit. Be like those who are waiting for their master to return from the wedding banquet, so they may open the door for him as soon as he comes and knocks. This gospel lesson, the second half of it at least, is about the return of Jesus into the world. And Jesus' advice for you right now, be ready, be alert, be dressed for action, have your lamps lit, because Jesus is coming back when you can't expect it. So be alert, be ready. It's hardly the only passage about this. It's all over in the Synoptic Gospels. And I don't know if you've ever wondered about that. This advice we get about Jesus, about his unexpected coming. But there's something a little odd going on, because the emphasis is always that you absolutely cannot know when this will happen. You can't predict it. You can't prepare for it. Jesus' return is something so different from the world in which we live that we can't even fathom it. We can't even imagine it. So we can't really prepare for it. But then Jesus tells us, be alert so that you can be ready for this thing that you absolutely cannot be ready for. Prepare for what you can't prepare for. That's what seems like the message is. And it's confusing. And it gets more confusing. Because if you read more and listen more to what it is Jesus says when he actually talks about the event that is coming, when Jesus will actually arrive, what is to take place, it's a little elusive for us to be able to follow. But every depiction is it's God breaking into this world. Sometimes it's actually the word tearing the heavens apart, breaking into this world in a way we cannot fathom, because it is the fullness of God fully revealed here. And when that happens, there is no way that anyone will not be part of it. You're not going to miss it. It's very clear, like Paul says, that every knee will bow, every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. It'll be a glorious experience beyond which we can't express. And it is something we're only going to be able to experience rather than understand. That's why it's sometimes called mystical. And you're going to be part of it. There's no way you can miss it. Those are the two messages we get. So keep alert, prepare. Which is odd, because not only can you not prepare for it, but then when Jesus describes what's going to happen, you didn't need to prepare for it. So why? Why be alert? Why prepare? It seems simultaneously impossible and pointless. Well, here, as you've gotten used to my sermons, is the turn, where I'll invite us to look more carefully at this passage, and that maybe this passage isn't really about the future at all, or at least not primarily, but something else. Be dressed for action and have your lamps lit. Be like those who are waiting for their master to return from the wedding banquet, so they may open the door for him as soon as he comes and knocks. Think of that image. Keep your lamps lit. Be dressed for action. If we are to light a lamp to keep watch for the coming of Christ in the future, is that all that lamp is for? Jesus' return is not where we're living right now. That's the future. I think this has to do with something we're doing right now. What is the posture of being a people with our lamp lit? And what does that mean for the present? What would it mean for us to be a people alert and ready? Not so we can be ready for Jesus to come back. Jesus is going to handle that on his own. But us being a people alert and ready for every aspect of this present evil age where we actually live. Keep your lamp lit. And we're in a world that really needs the light. Our world is hurting. We're all in deep grief about our world all the time. And that's not because we stand outside of it, because we're so smart and the world is so foolish, as if it's to say, well, here's us and there's the world out there. That's not what I'm saying. We are the world. We are the place we're living. We're talking about ourselves. And the world that we talk about is where we find our stability, where our grounding, what we think we can count upon. We so frequently are seeking more than anything consistency and calm, because that's so frequently how we understand peace for ourselves. And so how quickly we can convince ourselves that this world we live in is going to act consistently and that I can count on it, because honestly it usually kind of is. That there are some things that I can generally count on for a while. But of course, it's all temporary. And in this world, most of what we hang so much of our grounding on and our security upon is going to inevitably fail. And we can feel like the rug is pulled out from under us. What I thought I knew was true and meaning-filled turned out not to be. The world around it that I thought I was living in turns out to be different. And maybe the problem wasn't the world, but was my perception in the first place, which then makes me question everything about what I thought I knew. That crisis is so common, and I've spoken with so many who are facing that. And when that happens, that's what we call grief. That's recognizing that the world we live in is not okay. And it's not something we can count on in that way. And that's hard because I was counting on it. The world we live in is a broken place. There is this thing called the power of sin in this world, and the power of sin does not lead to a world where everyone does the nicest thing for one another. It's destructive, and as Paul says, from sin comes death. And death, of course, doesn't just interrupt, but turns everything upside down. Death takes anything we thought we could hold on to, all the things we loved, and the reason it's hard is because we really did love those things, and they really did provide us security, and it takes it all away. That happens, of course, most frequently when we lose someone we love. Our stability is lost. But the same thing happens when we put our trust in our institution and our ideals, and they are lost. We grieve that. That's the regular process of our world we live in. The thing that's remarkable is that we ever have any hope in it at all. Be dressed for action and have your lamps lit. This world needs the light. And if our light is shining so that we can be ready for Jesus to come, everyone else can see it too. If we're dressed for Jesus to arrive at the door, our neighbor can arrive at the door too. And our neighbor really needs it. And here is where that light metaphor can be really helpful, because light reveals what something really is more than we can perceive. The way, like the 4th century BC Cynic philosopher Diogenes of Sinope used to go around Athens holding up a lantern in the middle of the day and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Looking if I can discover an honest man." Diogenes said a lot of other things that are not appropriate for the pulpit. The light metaphor reveals what has been there this whole time, but we can't see. We see something in the darkness, but there's more if we have light. Because everything I just said about the world is true. It is a broken place with sin and death, and we are continually disappointed and left baffled. But there's more that we can see with light. That the sinful world that we just talked about was created good and is created good, and it remains good. It is God's good creation, and where there is creation, there is life, because God is a God of life, and God remains here. And where there is God, there is life. That's here too. The image of God resides in every one of us, despite the pain and the struggle and the challenge. Jesus has reclaimed us in his death and resurrection. All that power of sin and power of death went with him on the cross, and then we were raised with him in his resurrection. Our gospel passage talks about the return of Jesus, when that reality will become manifest in every way. We'll see it everywhere. But right now, the kingdom of God isn't just something in the future. It's already present, if we can see it, already present within each one of us. The future is present for everyone who's in relationship with Jesus. Martin Luther called the sacrament the foretaste of the feast to come, meaning it is the feast to come right here for you today. You do have a light within you. You do have within you the image of God. You are a beloved child of God and became one with God at your baptism, and God has not let you go. Jesus calling us to hold up our light is a statement of our worth. It's saying you really do have light within you, that the world of darkness is not all there is, that the world of grief and pain is not all there is, that Jesus in his death and resurrection has lifted you up right now and said, you are the light in the world. But that's hard. And that's really hard, because we've been empowered to work in this world. And how quickly does that statement of empowerment not lead immediately to a general despair and confounding? I'm supposed to be a light in this world, but the darkness around me is so great. Honestly, what is my light going to do? The problems that I face seem so large, and my ability to address it in the slightest seems tiny in comparison. Sometimes I like the idea of the remaining alert is just about the future when Jesus comes back, because then my job is just to wait. But instead, I'm charged with doing something, and I can feel confounded because I sometimes don't know where to start. I hate the structural injustices we have in this world, but they were here before I was born, and it's unlikely I alone am going to do anything really to stop it. And that sense of powerlessness can creep in so quickly. And denial of problems and despair at being able to do anything about problems leads to the same result, meaning doing nothing at all. How can I shine any light anywhere? But of course, it's not you shining that light. And here's the real point. I actually told you something a little bit ago that's actually not true. When I said that Jesus said, "You are the light of the world," Jesus didn't say that. Jesus said, "I am the light of the world." That light that's within you, that lamp that you're putting forward for all to see, it isn't about you. That's Jesus who's been here this whole time. Jesus who is working with us and who is that light in the window so that when those come by and see, it's not about what we can imagine us being able to accomplish. It's about what God is accomplishing and doing, and how frequently God does things that we don't understand what God's doing. We are the means of grace, or in the ELCA now we like to say being the hands and feet of Jesus. What Martin Luther called being the masks of God. God's the one acting. We're just the costume. I don't have to know how God is completely working in this world. I don't have to know what the whole plan is. My role is being present because it's God who's acting. And I think we need that because that light that's shining, I've been talking about it all as external. The light for the world around us. But you know that light isn't for all those people out there compared to me. The thing that we are probably most in the darkness about is ourselves. That I am awake and alert to myself. Because sometimes that could be a scary thing to do. Because if I let that happen, what am I going to find there? Am I going to like it? And how quickly that could lead to a questioning of identity of who I am and what is my significance. But the light of Christ reveals something else. At my baptism, I died with Christ and was raised again. I am Christ, and when I can feel lost in pain and grief, I am Christ's. The light of Christ is within me. The image of God has not been covered over. It has not been lost. I am a good creation, and nothing takes that away. Thanks be to God. Amen.